Hello, everyone, and welcome back to PixarNerd Studio, ranking every piece of canon Star Wars media that is seen on television. So I'm not going to be ranking any of the books because I haven't read them all. I've read some of them. Some of them are really good. I enjoy the Legend stuff more, but that's neither here nor there because today we're just ranking the movies and TV shows that are canon. So Mandalorian and the Skywalker saga, along with Rogue One, Solo, and the Clone Wars movie and TV show, and Rebels and Resistance. So first off, we're going to start with the fourth movie, which is Star Wars Episode 1. That was the fourth one that was released because someone put Yoda in charge of the release order. So then we have the reason why I'm putting it in C tier is because I like it. It's just not that good compared to the other ones. It's a bit boring at times, but some of the plot elements I like, such as the entire pod racing scene. That one's it's very pretty from a visual standpoint, and I like how the end battle is. Jar Jar's annoying, which it's just Jar Jar. I hate Jar Jar. I think everyone hates Jar Jar. So, next film, Star Wars Episode 2, Attack of the Clones. It's a D tier film because it's just boring and also has a love plot. I hate the love plot. It's gross. I keep romance out of my space fantasy movies, okay? The action scenes are meh. It's just not as good as the other ones. Next one, A tier, Star Wars Revenge of the Sith. It's my favorite prequel film, mainly because the PG-13 rating. Because of that rating, they were able to do a lot more stuff, and also the effects in that film are really good. Like the Order 66 bit, which lends into one of my other points that I'm going to make about other films and TV shows, is very emotional, especially where all the clones have to turn against the Jedis that they're working with. And then there's also the memeable moments, such as the hello there between Obi-Wan and General Grievous, and then there's the Eye of the High Ground between Obi-Wan and Anakin, which means that Obi-Wan is the Star Wars meme lord. Next, we have Star Wars Solo, A Star Wars Story, which I'm putting in D tier. When I saw this film, I was so bored and I almost fell asleep. It was just so boring, and Han Solo is my favorite Star Wars character, but when they made a film just about him, I found it so boring that I could not watch all of it without just trying not to fall asleep, which, I had high hopes for it, and then when I watched it, it was just the most disgusting thing I've ever seen. Some of this, the entire bit of how he got his name Han Solo, where he doesn't know his last name and he's flying solo, so his name's Han Solo, and there's the entire bit where Lando's droid becomes the brain of the Millennium Falcon, meaning that Han no longer is actually a good skilled pilot, it's actually just the droid piloting. It just takes away from the character so much instead of expanding on him. So that's why I just think of Solo as a non-canon film. And in its place, I decide to put the Star Wars Legend books, the Han Solo trilogy. So if you want a good Han Solo prequel story, read the Han Solo trilogy by, I think it's A.C. Crispin that wrote that. Next, we have the... Oh, dang it, I forgot the Star Wars Clone Wars. So we're going to put the movie in B tier. It's a bit... no, it's A. It's A tier. I like the movie. It was my childhood. The entire plot with Jabba's son was interesting. I just wish that they expanded upon Jabba's son some more. I like the introduction of Ahsoka. She's actually a really cool character. And then we have Star Wars The Clone Wars, which goes in S tier. Star Wars: The Clone Wars is what got me into Star Wars. I remember waking up on Saturday mornings, doing my chores, and then watching Star Wars: The Clone Wars on TV. Um, it, it's just one of my favorite pieces of Star Wars media. Um, like when you watch the prequel films, you're like, oh, Anakin's a horrible character. No one likes it. But in Star Wars: The Clone Wars, because of Star Wars: The Clone Wars, Anakin became my favorite character. Like that is how much Star Wars: The Clone Wars changed my opinion on Anakin. So next up, we have Rogue One, which I'm going to put in behind, no, in front of the Clone Wars movie. I enjoy Rogue One. I like the story. I like how there's not really any Jedi in there. True Imwe is a great Force Jedi stand-in character. I was sad when, spoiler alert, this movie's been out for 4 years now, but I was sad when almost everyone in the movie freaking dies. Um, I felt like that takes away from the film, and which makes it not be an S tier movie because it's my favorite of the Disney Star Wars movies. Um, so yeah, let's go on to Star Wars Rebels, which I'm gonna put in B tier. It's the first B tier one. Um, I haven't seen much of Star Wars Rebels. I enjoyed it. I just don't think it's on the same level as Clone Wars. I like how they add Ahsoka to it, so I mean that's probably why it's in B tier and not lower. I mean they're just trying to connect all these. It's probably what they're gonna be doing with the Mandalorian soon because Ahsoka's gonna be in that, and Boba Fett's gonna be in it, and Bo-Katan's gonna be in it, and all these other people are gonna be in that season 2. But with Star Wars Rebels, I just feel that they decided to take this ragtag group and try and shove them into this Star Wars universe, which um, I'm going to talk about later with another thing. So, next up, we have the original movie, which is New Hope. It's going to go in S tier. It's a good movie. Um, it, I can't say anything bad about it except for maybe the re-releases. Um, Luckily, I own the original 1991 VHS tape release for the original trilogy, so I have the unedited version. So there's Han shooting first. There's no CGI in it at all because um, I wanted to watch the original versions. Next up, we have The Empire Strikes Back, which is yeah, I'm gonna put that there. Empire Strikes Back is one of the best pieces of Star Wars media um, that has ever been made. Some of the effects are amazing, like the AT-ATs in Hoth. I mean, there is that infamous clip online where they show the pole that knocks over one of the AT-ATs. But Star Wars movies aren't perfect, like in Phantom Menace, where there's an actual electrical outlet that you can see. But uh, it doesn't matter. Empire Strikes Back is still a great movie, and the cliffhanger with Han Solo being frozen in carbonite is amazing. The next movie we have here is Star Wars: Return of the Jedi, which, yeah, no, I'm gonna put it above Revenge of the Sith. I like Return of the Jedi. I know some people hate it. I don't know why. Then again, some people think that me liking Venom is a bad thing. So, um, I feel Return of the Jedi is a good film. I like the Tatooine sequence. I like the Ewok sequence. My dog is actually named after Wicket, so Wicket W. Warwick. Um, the Ewoks are they're really cute. I actually really enjoy them. I know some people are like, oh, Ewoks were just so much. Um, excuse me, no, that's Porgs. And you never see Porgs again. In Ewoks, they appear later. And then again, so do Porgs in the sequel trilogy. But that doesn't matter. Next up, we have The Mandalorian, which I'm going to put above there. There we go. So, Mandalorian, I love the first season at least. I'm not sure about the second season since that's coming out like in 2 months, 3 months. They haven't released any trailers for it. No footage has been seen. But the announcements have been hyping it up like crazy with the return of Boba Fett, and the original actor for Jango Fett is now playing Boba Fett, which is going to be epic. Then there's the first live-action appearance of Ahsoka that's been rumored, and then there's the Darksaber tease at the end of Season 1, which I'm excited for because of how much I love the Clone Wars show. And since they're combining those two, it's going to be amazing to see. Next up, we have Star Wars Resistance, or, I don't know. Does Star Wars Resistance start at the same... Yeah, no, I'm just going to put Star Wars Resistance in the have-not-seen pile, because that is the only piece of Star Wars canon media that I have not at least seen a little bit of. Like, with Star Wars Rebels, I've seen maybe 1 or 2 seasons. With Resistance, I have not seen any of the 2 seasons. I know it's on Disney+. I've heard some good things about it. I just do not want to see it because it's connected to the sequel trilogy. Speaking of the sequel trilogy, I'm going to put Force Awakens in B tier. I liked Force Awakens, even though it's basically just A New Hope version number 2 with different characters. Actually, I might move Force Awakens down because it kills Han Solo. And I'm still mad at J.J. Abrams, who we will be referring to from now on as Jar Jar Abrams, because it's funny. Next, we have The Last Jedi, which I'm going to put down here. Last Jedi is not that bad, but I remember coming out of this theater and like, oh, it's an okay movie. And I'm like, the cliffhanger ending where there's only a certain amount of people now left in the Resistance that all fit in the Millennium Falcon. That's a good plot point. And then there's the entire Leia floating out in space like Mary Poppins scene, which, if you have not, search up Leia Last Jedi shooting star meme, and it is the funniest thing ever because they just combine her with that meme, and it's hilarious. Then the last piece of Star Wars media we have here is The Last Jedi. Or not The Last Jedi, The Rise of Skywalker, which people are like, oh, it's a horrible movie. No, I enjoyed it, okay? I cried in that movie. So I'm going to put it above Star Wars Rebels and Force Awakens. I'm like, when I first saw it, I'm like, oh, this is a great movie. Sure, there's some stuff that I'm like, why did they do this? Such as the reveal that Palpatine's still alive. I'm like, why did they have to do that? And then they marketed it with Fortnite and added a major element that you could only find out using Fortnite. And I hate Fortnite, so, and then there was the fact that they left out important details in the film, and then they were just like, hey, let's just release it in the novel about 3 months later. And so that's revealed that Palpatine was actually a clone, which ties it back to the prequel trilogy with the entire clone saga sort of a thing, and dang, I referenced that Spider-Man story I actually enjoy. And then it brings back to the Clone Wars, and then they also, like, everyone's like, oh, that means Palpatine decided to have sex. No, Palpatine is a clone, his son's a clone, you know, that makes it way better, in my opinion. I just enjoy Palpatine's character, so I'm glad that he's the overarching villain of this story, with him first being Darth Sidious, going to Chancellor Palpatine, to be Emperor Palpatine, to be gross, cloned, zombie-like version of Emperor Palpatine. So, I mean, it sort of, like, the entire sequel trilogy ruins the Legends stories. And if you've read the Legend stories, they're actually really good. There's an Obi-Wan Kenobi one that takes place when he's on Tatooine, which I'm excited to see what they do with the Kenobi show. Then there's an entire trilogy about Han Solo and Leia going to Corellia with their children. There's an entire trilogy, or there's an entire series about an alien invasion, which is interesting. And so that's why I have a dislike for the sequel trilogy. I feel they're not as bad as some of the prequels, but I'm just mad that the sequel trilogy erased all that nice canon that has been around since before I was born. So, anyways, that's my Star Wars canon tier list. I hope you guys enjoy. Like the video, share it, and subscribe if you have not already. And I'll see you guys in another video. Hope everyone has a wonderful rest of their day.